Hey everybody, Texas Cherokee here, Lance's Performance Shop, Lone Star Mopars.com. Celebrating Mopar Monday here. Just had a fresh delivery that is going to complement this. This is something that I picked up for my birthday for myself from O'Reilly's. And what we're looking at, if you're unaware by the yellow and black, it is from Titan. And some of you are thinking like, oh no, that's not going to be anything good. Well, this is kind of unique. It's a micro ratchet, and this one, if you note, you're like, hey, does that come with some bits? That's funny. Well, this is a bit driver iteration. You've probably seen these. Again, AutoZone, O'Reilly's, Northern Tool, local parts stores. They're very, very popular counter display items, have been for several years now. And where I first saw this, I think, was in AutoZone. And the catch is, they never have the colors, and that's right, there are colors. What I typically see is silver or black. I'm not a huge fan of the black. Don't mind the silver. It's kind of default what it is. It's sort of like an aluminum, so it's anodized colors. And when you know that there's colors, then you hesitate to buy them, and you always hope that they come in and you catch it when it's like the full little counter display. And that never happens, and finally I did. This was like summertime last year, and they were all black, and I was like, really? People don't get the colors. But nonetheless, this one was sourced locally. Again, birthday score from O'Reilly's. Cool thing, I think it was like 14, some weird price, but sub $15, which is a pretty good buy. You're usually going to find these online around 20 or so. Now, we're not going to open that right now because I have to do this. I have to turn around and throw this down. This is a color. They've got blue. This is a color. They've got green. Again, these are the exact same things, just in different colors. So think of that as like default. You'd have black, you'd have red. You got blue, you got green, you've got orange, and you've got rainbow. I think that covers the color kaleidoscope there. And I have to say, the good news is these look way better in person than they did in some of the stock images online, so that's a relief. Rest assured, we'll get these opened up, take a look at them here in detail. These I had to source from the Jungle site. They were around, they vary in price by color, which is kind of strange, but basically like 18 to 20, so this was a way better deal locally. I wish I could have gotten colors locally. Rainbow is the outlier. The rainbow, which I say rainbow, think more of like a titanium, weld or something like TIG welding would produce. You'd be looking at like 28 bucks for that thing. It's very unique. If you want to just stand out, or you're like, that's going to be the easiest to see, or it's just your style or whatever, that's the route to go. However, we didn't stop there. We did this. You'll note all of these have the bits. I think they're just all number 2 Phillips. I've got green. And you're thinking like, okay, what's the deal? I've got blue. You're thinking like, oh, okay, so let's... I'm not a detective, but if I was a gambling man, I'd say you're going to throw down a silver one that matches that and creates a set. No. And, here's the deal, okay? So this set I want to take to work. This set is going to stay here. This set we cannot open. It's a gift from my nephew. His birthday is coming up. I wanted to get these in. You never know how long shipping is going to take. Shipping, not really the problem from the Jungle site. It's how long will they make you wait until they ship if you don't pay their price or join their programs, which, spoiler alert, I will never do. So I have to kind of plan in advance. I think like, well, okay, it's probably like a 2-3 day transit, but how long will it take them to get to that point? And it's usually a long time because, again, I don't pay for that. So this set is where I'll start. And if you haven't figured it out yet, these are not the same thing. This is the magnetic bit ratchet. You can see the 2 Phillips there. You'll turn that over. Hopefully you can tell that'll hold a hex bit. This one doesn't have the bits. And you think, what's the deal? It's a quarter square drive. So, again, roughly the same price across the board. It doesn't matter if you go bit or quarter drive. The selling points, 90 tooth, so they should be, obviously I can play around with them. They seem pretty good. The big thing, like when I try to come back here, sometimes you have a lot of slop. These don't seem to have much slop. I have no experience with them. Somehow I've never purchased one until that guy. I cannot speak on longevity, I can't speak on durability, but that's where you come in. I know undoubtedly, regardless of the color, many of you have probably had these since they were introduced or since you first saw them. You know, like you run inside for a water pump or an alternator or battery or something. It's just one of those things. It's cool, you know, it's useful. It makes a great counter item, and many of you thus probably have these and have had them for quite some time. If you use them, how do they hold up? Any issues, feel free to let people know. Obviously, I have no clue. I went in blind. But the green here, I've told you before, my nephew, typically, you know, like the Sublime color on our Alpha gloves, which, spoiler, save 20% with discount code Lone Star. This is like the tool company green, Sublime. They all go with the bright, the lime, high impact color, right? You rarely see a dark green, or even like a normal modest green like this pack of Pallistal, right? You know, you don't see stuff like this PB Swiss. I mean, look at that color difference. And then a great example, again, will always be our Stahlwille over here. Just like a traditional, if you had a set of crayons in front of you, this is green, this is spring green, right? Since it was anodized, and since I do have a bit of experience with anodized fittings, you can sometimes find the crazy colors. It was really popular with imports, and that kind of took off. But anodized colors routinely like brighten up, right? If you try to get an orange anodized color, it usually comes out looking more like a copper penny. And sometimes you think like, cool, orange, you know, because you've seen blue, you've seen red, and then you go and get your orange or get your green or even purple. Purple usually does well, you know, it all has to do with the anodizing process, but orange is a really hard color to get right, and green varies wildly. And this actually looks pretty good. It's not quite Sublime, it's not quite a dark green, but it's on the darker side. So I think my nephew will actually be pretty happy with these. Again, I hate not opening them for you, but hopefully if you're a green person, you'll kind of get enough of a feel for this. Again, stock images vary. If it's like generated or company specific, they leave a bit to be desired, in my opinion. I say that again as somebody that just got these, and I was like, wow, these all look really good. So there those are for my nephew. Right here, let's just come in and crack this open. If you're curious, like, idiot, why did you not get a matched pair? That drives me crazy. It's going to drive you crazy. Well, here's the deal. I probably should have ordered an orange bit driver version. However, my thoughts were like, hey, you know, I've never used these. Take this out of the equation. I hope they're good. I think if nothing else, I like the color of them. This is kind of like a done deal for work, for a situation we'll describe here shortly. This was a great buy, and so instead of me like coming in and shelling out another 20 bucks for an orange one, I thought, you know, let's make sure I like this first. And so we'll run with that. That's kind of the best synopsis I can give you. But I think what I will do to save time is actually crack these open and showcase them that way. It won't save a ton of time, but it will be a little bit. And I'm trying to maximize a low battery and a low card here, see how much I can get done tonight. So give me 1 second, we'll be right back. Alright, so not sure if I covered this or not, but it's one of the things I loved Titan did here. Pay attention. You got the green Ratchet. Oh, that was such a spill. Dadgum. Whole bunch. I keep like little hotel cards for like putty scrapers and stuff. I put them in a cup. That just fell over. Gonna be fun to pick that up. But note right there, hopefully you can see on the tag it's green. If I come over here, this is very minor but appreciated. You can see blue, that coordinated with the blue. The orange right here, boom. Hopefully you can pick up on that. Again, trying to get through this quick. And then right here, even the plain Jane silver, got the silver. Really like that. Again, minor, no real impact on anything at all, but man, is it nice. So big thing here, obviously Titan quarter drive. There's your part number, lifetime warranty. Not sure how that's going to pan out, but we will see. Again, your experience with these much appreciated. Let's go over some specs here. The OAL on this is going to be 4 inches. That would be 10.2 centimeters. And if we flip it around, you take a look at that bottom line. Second bottom line, where? Somewhere. Dadgum, 1 second. Going blind here. Oh, okay, I'm sorry. They put English and French on the same line, threw me off. So yeah, made in Taiwan. That's all I wanted you to take from that. No other real pertinent information available to us. So let's come in and do it this way. I told you, these are like anodized aluminum colors, and you say, oh, well, okay, how'd they pull that off on steel? Well, they didn't. This is truly aluminum. Case in point, right here we got a little PB Swiss, which again, there's a good color comparison for you. If I come in on this handle, we got nothing. If I come in over here, nothing. You think, well, that one's metal. This one actually is, which this could be a deal for some of you then. This one is not anodized silver. This is a bare metal handle. Granted, these are bare metal as well. They're just bare aluminum handles. Again, anodized aluminum, not magnetic, because it's aluminum. Now that said, check this out. If I come in up here on the head of the ratchet, you can see the magnet sticks. It'll hold the ratchet up, right? If you think, hey, is that an aluminum body there too? No. The head itself is going to be metal, but the body, everywhere you see orange, that is anodized aluminum. This is significantly lighter than the steel one. I was totally unaware that that was the case, by the way. I just assumed it was aluminum. It is not. So what I'll do here is come in with this guy, which again is a little heftier than the aluminum counterparts. That could be something you prefer. It could be a disadvantage. It's something you will want to know when you go to make the purchase. But listen to this. I mean, for the price point and how unique these are, it's not terrible. Most difficult thing about this is probably changing directions. You know what I mean? So, not bad at all. Let's come in here. We'll grab one of the PB Swiss to be fancy. Again, the potential downside on this, that is magnetic, but there's no locking mechanism. There's a low battery life. That's a pretty strong magnet, though. That's impressive. Is there a retainer in there? No, that is all magnet, so that's pretty impressive. Now, obviously, slight upgrade might be if this was a little bit beefier, right? But nonetheless, there you go. That is a pretty significant length, and that might turn some of you off. You might be used to that tucking up into a bit ratchet, kind of like the Hazet. This is the same size. In fact, you know what? Just so nobody accuses us of shenanigans, we'll pull that. We're going to grab a KC tool, bit of things. We're going to come in, we're going to showcase the Hazet. Do you see that difference there? Now, this is almost the same footprint. This is a bit smaller than the Hazet. The thing is, yes, this will give you tighter clearance. It's more compact, again, because that sinks up inside the bit ratchet. The thing to remember, aside from these kind of having a different lock, this is a Stahlwille. We will plug it in, hopefully. This one is kind of a pain to get bits in. It's a different retainer mechanism. But once it's in there, check it out. Same setup, right? If we get the Hazet and the Stahlwille there, they are pretty dadgum close, right? They're also slim. They're going to get in tighter places than this. However, the Micro can do something that those can't. And what is that, you ask? Well, quite simply, imagine, if you will, the clearance isn't an issue. You've got this much space. This will fit. Those will fit. You might even get some stubbies in there. Let's say that you've got an obstacle here. I can jump it and come and spin some more. Then I can come back, tighten. You get the idea, right? It's the same benefits as a Roto has everywhere, or a breaker bar, anything hinged. You may or may not clear it, but just having the potential to do so is huge. The other thing, let's say that you know you're going to need this, you just will go to a rear deck lid speaker, okay? Got your back glass sloping down like crazy. You know, the back one, you're going to have this, but the top one, it's almost like you wish you just had like a little stubby screwdriver, right? Well, this can come in and run that down. With either of these, or any fixed bit ratchet, the Hazet or the Stahlwille, cheap one from Harbor Freight, expensive American-made one from Snap-on, whatever you got, they can't go full vertical like this. That is a huge selling point for this style. So again, also a huge selling point is the price point of $20. You're going to spend quite a bit more for either one of those, even on a deal. The only real negative is you wish that that could recess a bit, right? But like I said, aside from the stick out, it holds quite nicely. That is no exaggeration on my part. I'm kind of impressed by that. I figured it'd be a much weaker magnet. Again, here it is in action. Pretty smooth, I have to say. Fairly impressive right out of the box there. Big downside, again, is your overall length with the bit extended that far. That said, there's really not a workaround for that. The workaround that Titan provides, though, which is actually pretty good, is this. Okay, you'll note, if you're like, oh yeah, you did say that there were 2 bits included with each one of those. Well, check this out. We will painstakingly fish this out. And if you think, hey, that looks smaller, well, take a look. Okay, this is a PB Swiss, kind of just for viewing pleasure. It's like a half-cut bit, all right? So now, what I'm going to do is grab the blue one. I'm going to drop this guy in, and this is much more manageable. This, which is working quite well, and again, you don't have to buy half-cut bits if you're looking for an excuse to get more cool, useful tools. There's one for you. But look at that. This radically improves that. Now, the catch is they're only including 2 of these, so if you had any other sizes, or if you wanted this for slotted screws or exotic security torque stuff, you're going to have to go find and source those bits on your own. But let's see how that compares now with these. Obviously, you're not going to be able to beat the Stahlwille and the Hazet or any fixed one that recesses the bit, but it is a huge improvement over what we saw with the standard bit going into this Titan Roto. So that is kind of a catch-22 for you. Again, it's just going to come down to the benefits, but that is the Titan bit in the blue, the standard bit of thanks. There, it's notably longer, right? So big win on that front. Now, speaking of wins, what do you do if you think, hey, I'd like to have that as a nut driver? Well, here you are. Okay, got the quarter drive here, and if I come in and I check out this little Hazet, this would be our 7/16. This is a real world situation. Think how handy this would be for battery terminal, old car battery terminals. All right, you come in, you've got this there, you break it free, and then you just run it out, right? You've got a great knurled zone here. It turns pretty easily. And again, if you need leverage then to tighten it up when you reinstall, there you go. This, in my opinion, might be more useful than the bit ratchet, but it's probably worth having both at this price point. Case in point, again, this is nothing special, nothing shallow. We could go put like a Coke and Zeal, like the super stubbies they sell. Not standard affair, but like they literally do make stubbies and make this way more compact. But right there, if you see that, this is the half-cut bit. Now check it out though, when we come against the full-length one, it's roughly, if you need a comparison, this is just a standard Hazet socket. It's going to have the same extension as a standard quarter hex bit does in this magnetic adapter. So that's a really good comparison for you in the event that you don't have one of these and you're like, hey, you know, I have an application where that would be fantastic. Well, there you go. Right here, this one would kind of be a little bit larger, but again, I think kind of doable. Just a little 1/2-inch socket. I mean, you get the idea. We come in, you run something down real quick, need a final tighten, go to town, right? Again, all the benefits of a Roto, great knurled zone. There's only so many times I can repeat this because it's the same tool. But I got to tell you, I am impressed, especially for the price point. This is something you could easily see someone try to get more money for. I think 19 is the sweet spot. Would I like to see them around 10 or 12? Yeah, but if you can get this for $14.99 to $19.99, I don't think you're getting ripped off, especially if you've got an application where you think, hey, that would have been really handy. It kind of pays for itself in a use or two, right? So keep in mind, you can do other things with it. This will take standard extensions. You can throw a wobble fix on there. You can do all sorts of things. Speaking of that, I suppose we should do some more comparisons. Give me 1 second and we'll make that happen. All right, so some of you are probably excited. You're thinking, comparisons. This is going to be great. Well, this is actually, I think, tool of the day today, believe it or not, here early March when I'm recording this. This is the Felo one. You can see I've got a little quarter drive insert for it, which you can absolutely do if you just want to, if you think, hey, the bits would be way more useful to me. If you have an adapter, you can set it up to run quarter drive sockets. Again, you're just going to be extending out from the original distance. But interesting thing here is the uptick. It's also a very unique handle. It's quite comfortable. I don't know where I have a Vera. I should have one sitting around, but the beloved Wiha Go Box. Now this one's in really good shape because it's in the toolbox. The ones elsewhere are a little worse for the wear. But this is another very compact bit. We'll just come in again to keep it fair. We're going to go with a bit of Thinks. This one doesn't have a great retaining mechanism. It holds it pretty good, but that would be the weak spot in my opinion. Here it is, standard bit. Roughly the same thing. If we come into the half cut bit, or I guess that was the half cut bit, my apologies. So standard bit, yeah, the Wiha is just a head under, right? Same thing. If we pull this out of the Felo and we grab yet another bit of Things, we will hopefully set this up. It's a magnet. Yeah, there we go. So right there again, that is basically the same termination spot as our Wiha is going to have. So right there, it's again just the extension that's kind of killing that. This is neat. This is a pretty good little example here. This is straight. This is going to be good most of the time. Sometimes you need a kick up because there's an obstacle, right? And this would just be handy. It makes it much, much easier. You can get maybe this much more swing than the Wiha could get having to go here. Same with our straight Stahlwille and Hazet. This, you can go up and over, right? I covered that. And again, you come back around, you get the idea. This is freeform. You can also come full vertical and run it in. Lots and lots of benefits to a Roto, in my opinion. I think we might spend more time on this in the future, but like I said, I'm kind of in a time crunch, battery light, and all that happening. If you're wondering, like, hey, could we, maybe you lost your little Wiha ratchet, right? And you think, hey, will that fit in that case? Let me find out for you. If I turn that up, ooh, it's gonna be tight. I think it might. Oh, it's a little too tall vertically. Well, let's get that out. Yeah, it's not gonna do it. Maybe if you killed some bits out of it or cut your foam, I think it could happen. Like if I hold that down. Yeah, if you really wanted to make this happen, you can modify it and make it even better, but as you can see, it actually is shut there. So that's the clasp. Again, upside down. So yeah, you totally could do that. Again, the proper thing to do is probably notch your foam for that little, insert there. Same thing if you went with a quarter drive. This little gem here, though, is very important because once more, if you're kind of balling on a budget here, you can take something like this and you can convert this from bits or half-cut bits to the ability to hold these sockets. So if we come in here, we'll rip this off, maybe, throw this on. Yes, there's an extension, but if this was a pinch for you, if this was like in your glove box, if this was in your desk drawer type of a thing, all these little accessories that you could get could turn to be quite useful. You're adding a lot of length there over this one. So if you like the performance of this with the bits and you think, yeah, I think I do want the quarter drive, save up for it. I do think it would be worth it because, again, that whole extension is kind of killing the game there. But I gotta tell you, I am impressed with these. Kind of wish I would have bought one a long time ago. But I'm also at the same time glad that I held out because I like these colors a lot better. Again, if you're interested in these, red is not showcased here. The rainbow titanium weld puddle is not showcased here. Black isn't showcased. And if you hate heavy, if you want this to be as light as possible, don't get silver because it's actually metal. Okay, these are all aluminum. Right here, actually, the packaging, I guess if we pay a little bit more attention, all of these colors are going to say, let's try to get this focused, anodized aluminum handle, and this actually says chrome vanadium steel. So, doesn't say handle, but I guess you can deduce that, right? So, as we showcased with the magnet, it is what it is. That was something I just kind of grazed over that. I would have just assumed, hey, you know, it's the silver aluminum one, and it is not. It is steel. So, like I said, for better or for worse, whatever your preference, you can go that route as well. But, yeah, bit ratchets, what are you preferring and why? Do you like just little cheap, you know, you don't get too heartbroken if you lose it, and you're like, this, we could replace the whole set. If you lose that ratchet, you could replace that whole Go Box for half to a third of the Stahlwille or Hazet type of a thing. The Felo is not too terribly bad. I want to say it was 24, something like that, on tool of the day. Again, the cool thing with it and why it might be desirable for you is literally just the unique form factor. You've got the offset. If you come in and you think of like your wrenches, or even, it's kind of a, I can't ever figure out why people don't care more about like the 15 degrees on side cutters, where my hand is up here, but the tool goes down like this, and it can cut flush without me having to like strain or hold awkwardly across some impediment. I'm up here, and the tool is down here cutting. Beautiful setup. That's sort of what this mirrors. So we'll ditch that bit of things, and somewhere here we've got this. I don't know what I was doing with this, but for some reason I had it in there, so we'll just leave it as is. But yeah, these are kind of a cool little budget item. It's a lifetime warranty. Again, if you've got like a local Titan tool place or the parts store, maybe you know how they warrant them. They swap it out for you. Maybe you have to like mail it in. I don't know. That's something some of you, again, may have experienced and can kind of tell everybody like, hey, you know, O'Reilly's will just give you a new one, but they never have your colors type of a deal. I think Titan's been around long enough, and these have been on the market long enough. I'm sure people have broken them, and I'm sure if they were bad stories, I probably would have heard one. So they're either good, or people just, you know, hey, that's acceptable. Maybe it's like Tecton style, you know, send us a picture, or maybe have to send it in, who knows. But they're cool little tools, and that's why they're here. So yeah, like I said, the blue will be going to work. It looks stupid good in my opinion. Just again, a really, really nicely done blue. It's a bright blue, maybe a little bit brighter than some of the anodized blue, like on AN lines if you're running braided hose or something. The orange, again, orange usually winds up like a copper color, copper pennyish, whenever you see it on an anodized fitting. This is pretty good, and you think like, hey, that's not a true orange, for example. Default here, PB Swiss. Yeah, I mean, it's obviously there's some deviation there. Some of you may prefer this. Honestly, this is kind of a paler orange. It looks paler in the camera than it is in person with PB Swiss. But what I can tell you, I've seen a lot of anodized orange because I've wanted it for the charger. So this is pretty legit. I'm just going to go out on a limb and tell you that. The silver, again, is chrome vanadium steel in this green. The best way I would describe that to you, again, it is not your tool company green, tool truck green, Sublime type of a lime, light color green. It's also not a really... If you took British Racing green, if you're familiar with that, F8 in Mopar land, and then, what was the other one I had come up with? Dadgum, kind of an OD green, think military color, and sort of swirled them all together. You come up with this, and I personally really do like it. The big benefit here with any of these colors are going to be a little bit more visible than the black. I will tell you, I'm not a red person. I actually kind of liked their red as well. So, there might be yellow. I'm not 100% sure on that. But again, basically somewhere in the ballpark of 14 to 20, I think you're getting a fair price outside of the rainbow. It probably is a little bit more involved of a process. Plus, they probably don't sell as many, so the volume comes into play there. But any of these others, you can get pretty good deals on. Again, check your local parts stores. Sometimes strange places like farm-to-market stores, you know, you wouldn't think of. You walk in there, it's sitting on the counter. You might just have to track them down. Otherwise, you can go online, find them, just buy where it's the cheapest. You get the best deal, whatever suits you, floats your boat. But yeah, pretty cool little tools, I have to say. And again, you should know I'm a Roto person. I love them, find them useful, something I prefer. And I think there is a lot of benefit to having a bit ratchet with the Roto head. So that's kind of a cool deal. Again, I had an application at work where I thought, man, that's kind of be cool if I had a Roto on that. And here we go. A couple days later, it's my birthday, and I walk out of O'Reilly's with that little guy. A couple weeks after that, boom, here we are. So I'll get to test these out, see what we think of them, see if we want to expand, but this is a general introduction. Again, many of you likely have far more experience. If you do, please share your thoughts, good or bad, so you can help other people out. And with that said, I got 16 seconds. Thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, leave a like. If you like multiple things I do here, I encourage you to subscribe. If you do that, jump the General Lee across the creek, land the jump, wield your Titan Roto Ratchets. YouTube just might notify you about new videos every Wednesday and Saturday, 9 a.m. Texas time.